Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Strap your butts in, this is going to be a long one, and this is meant for you people that will be coming over from Windows 10, and also you people learning from the loads of misinformation that PewDiePie did. He didn't get all of it right, unfortunately, and that's whatever. We're not going to be one of those people who make a 40-minute video going over a video, because that's just ridiculous. What we are going to do is I'm going to show you where you should begin. And this is with all honesty, because if you're a gamer, you're coming from Windows, there's a chance you're going to have modern hardware. And even if you don't, you're going to want a distro that supports both, but also gives you the least buggy experience possible. And that, even today, is CachyOS. I hate to be this guy, but if you go to DistroWatch, you can see that CachyOS is second at the moment. Linux Mint is botted almost every day by Reddit users, and it's the only reason why it's still first. CachyOS has knocked out all of its competition off the list, and that in its own right is pretty damn cool. So, let's begin. If you are an AMD user, you have an AMD GPU, you're going to want to click CachyOS. Right there, the top one, let's highlight it. If you're an NVIDIA user with a 1600 card Turing to a 2000 series and newer, you're going to want to click CachyOS NVIDIA open source module. This is not, I repeat, this is not using Mesa. This is using the NVIDIA driver itself, okay? People get confused with that all the time. And if you have older hardware, such as 900 series card or Pascal, which is a 1070, a 1080, 1080 Ti, 1060, 1050, 1050 Ti, you're going to want to click this one because this is the proprietary driver, okay? If you don't want to use the NVIDIA driver at all, you can click this and it will use NVK and Nobara or Novola or whatever you want to call it instead. But since I am inside of a virtual machine, we are going to be clicking the first option. And I'm also going to be setting a filter on this so that we have the best view possible. And I'm going to try to get me out of there so that you guys, I'm here, so it's personal. You can see me, right? And no, that was a bad mistake. So let's begin, shall we? Right there. Now, I am on a desktop environment. Well, it's not a desktop environment. I am on Hyperland, and Hyperland is not for everyone. It will never be for everyone, and there is a reason for that, because it can be very, very difficult to get used to. Okay? And it's not one of those things that you could just jump right into and have a dear old time. Reset that to 0. Let's reset that to 0. It's one of those things that just takes a while to learn, you know? And if you're up for that learning experience, I applaud you already. That's awesome, okay? So, currently, if you use CachyOS, it will put you here on what's called a desktop environment. It's called KDE. And if you're coming from Windows, this is definitely your most user-friendly option. Because of reasons. But I'm going to warn you, and no one else is going to be honest with you about this. It can be really buggy, okay? We do have to connect the Wi-Fi to be able to get this installation started. Because again, it updates packages as you go. And that is what makes it different. Because instead of, installing and then you're forced to update, you are just updating as you're installing. And you're using the newest packages available. They're tested, which means less bugs, less issues in the long run, and you have the best performance that your CPU and GPU could offer you, because the newest kernel and the newest drivers are super important. They are really important, especially if you're on a 9070 XT like I am. The newest drivers are a must. There's no choice on that one. There's none. Okay? All right. Since we're going to be doing this entire video like this, I am going to also do this. We're going to stretch. Because I want to be able to get out of the video to be able to pause and stuff, so that's why we're doing the stretching. I know, it's weird. But now we're at 1080p. Okay. And me? Well, I'm going to go up here just for a bit, because we got a lot of stuff to do and not a long time to do it. No, I don't want it brighter. There. So let's begin. As you saw, this will launch everything for you. We open this up by clicking it. You can hear there's audio for some reason, and I don't like it. But these are your bootloader choices. Okay, so we're going to minimize this, and we're going to focus primarily on this. Grub is old, and it has issues. It can disappear without reason. Windows can snap it in two and destroy it, and it's not reliable whatsoever. In the long run, there's going to be people that are comment below that that's not true, but I've had nothing but pain and suffering when it comes to Grub. In the old days, when I would pop out an NVMe, because I have not an NVMe, an SSD, Grub would disappear. It's annoying. They fixed that, but again, sometimes Grub can just break for no reason. Everything can break for no reason. If you're on UEFI only, you're going to want systemd boot because it's ridiculously fast. Okay? It's just crazy. There's also Refined. So if you have Windows and Linux, Refined's your best bet. It's got like this visual experience going on. It shows you what's Windows. It shows you what's CachyOS. I would say that's one of the most user-friendly ones instead of a little menu. I don't know what this is, but it says AI SDK Refined, and this is Lemon. This is new. It started in 2020. You have to configure this yourself. Once it installs, you're just going to be given CachyOS. You have to click that, and then there's a secondary option. There's no fallback option, but hopefully they'll add it soon. So instead, because today, I will offer you Refined. Once clicking this, it will bring you on to the next step, which is the installer. So the installer is pretty simple, straightforward. We're going to full screen this. I'm going to make sure that I'm within the boundaries of the thing. We hit next, you select where you are. Okay, so it automatically knows where I am, which is nice. And English, US, but there's also other options, as you can see. So it supports almost every option you can imagine. You can test your keyboard right there. This is where you deal with your disks. So if you are on Windows, install alongside will show up. It may work, it may not work. It depends on how stubborn Windows being. I do have a video where you can manually partition everything. So in here you can shrink something, grow something, basically add parts to it. But for this purpose here, because I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you're doing this, if you're trying out Linux, please, for the love of God, go out, buy a secondary drive, even if it's an external drive that's run through USB. Those external drives are really fast these days if you get a nice one. Not to mention that another NVMe is 30 to 40 bucks for a 500 gig, 256 gig. That's enough to test Linux on. You can buy a 1 terabyte SSD for like 50 bucks, maybe even 20 now these days. You just want something to test something on, right? So again, explaining these options is going to be a bit weird, but I'm going to attempt to do it. And I just need to get rid of you and you, and I need to get rid of my video editor. Now, to go over this section, I needed to learn some stuff real quick, okay? Because I just usually go with XFS these days. So the first one is called ButterFS or BTRFS, which is the B-tree file system. Now, BTRFS is modern. It's pretty much advanced, okay, as far as most things go. It's designed for Linux primarily. It aims to provide more functionality than a traditional file system. So this thing will give you snapshots. In other words, allows to create point-in-time copies of data without duplicating it for useful backups. This is in case something happens, you can restore back. It's pretty interesting. Subvolumes, so logical divisions within the file system offering flexibility. So if something goes bad, maybe that other thing will be fine. Compression, so it supports on-the-fly compression. So if you enable that by default, what happens is you have more space, which is nice. I don't know why I was doing with my hands there, but it has error detection and correction. So it detects and repairs data corruption using checksums on the fly, which might be super useful. It has RAID support, so built-in RAID compatibilities for data redundancy and performance. It handles large amounts of data and files efficiently. Okay. So this next one is called XFS. This is the one that I use. It's a high performance journaling file system developed by Silicon Graphics. It excels at handling large files and extension storage systems. So that was my phone. Performance is one of it. So it's optimized for large files and high-speed data access. So if you're a video editor like me, this really helps. If you do recording, if you play games even, it handles large files very well. It handles massive storage arrays. It's got metadata journaling, so prevents data corruption by keeping track of changes. And defragmentation tools, includes utilities for system defragmentations, which is nice. The next one is called ext4, so it's fourth extended file system. ext4 is the default Linux file system for many distributions, which is true. It is reliable and stable, offering performance and features. So it's backwards compatibility, so it can mount ext3 file systems without conversion. Performance supports delayed allocation for better write speeds, handles files up to 16 terabytes and file systems up to 1 EB. I don't know what the hell EB is, but it's probably freaking massive. Let's see. Error detection, use checksums for journaling metadata, and journal provides protection against system crashes, which is nice. This is a lot of data to put into a video. We're already 12 minutes in and we're still working on file systems. The next is F2FS, so flash friendly file system. So F2FS was created specifically for NAND flash storage devices like SSDs, NVMEs, and eMMCs. Advantages: optimization for flash storages, minimize write amplifications, improving lifespan for flash devices, better handling for random writes, common in flash drives, and it's got garbage collection. Help manage unused storage efficiently. And the last one, because we're not even going to bother with this one, because this one's just garbage and has caused Linus and the kernel development team nothing but problems. So ZFS is an advanced file system volume manager originally developed by Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems. They sound familiar. It's a feature-rich, well-suited for data centers and enterprise storage. So it's not something you really want, I guess, in today's stuff. It's got data integrity, so end-to-end encryption checksums, snapshots and clones, same as ButterFS. Compression and deduplication, safe storage stays by compressing data and eliminating duplicates. RAID built-in support. It has self-healing, automatically detects and repairs corrupted files, and scalability. Handles petabytes of data with ease. So that's pretty cool. Which one you choose is completely up to you. This is why I explained everything, because I wanted you to have options. Now, I will be doing the same kind of video with Pikaos as well, so you can look forward to that. But for today, I'm going with XFS. You can choose whatever you want. Again, Linux is all about choice. That's what makes it great. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So this one is a doozy. It's a doozy for a few specific reasons. Explaining all the desktop environments and Windows managers is really hard and difficult to do. It's the one thing that PewDiePie left out because people were left confused about the whole hyperlink thing, and he never really explained anything else. And this is where Linux Mint leaves them in the dust, because you are sheltered from other desktop environments. You are put in a box, you're put in your own ecosystem, and Linux, the outside world, everything that is, you're stuck in time at a specific point. It's called long-term service. They claim stability, but here's the thing. If a program is extremely bugged and it's in long-term service, that means that it's going to take months, even years, for the Mint developers to update and fix it unless they backport that. And the backport means they have to backport other stuff, and it ends up being a real pain. So this is another reason why Linux Mint is not a good beginner-friendly distro. Because if you're stuck with age-old bugs that are already fixed, you are lacking performance optimizations if those programs are already moving forward. And if your kernel is old and the new kernel offers performance enhancement, fixes, bug fixes, security updates, and so much more, you're also left behind there. Like right now, the 6.15 kernel gives massive performance leaps to the 9070 XT and other AMD GPUs. You're not going to get that on Linux Mint. You're going to be left behind. The newest version of Mesa 25.1 offers major performance fixes for the 9070 XT and other graphics cards as well in the AMD lineup. So again, you're going to be missing that. There are repos you can install to update to these things, but again, you're relying on someone else to keep you up to date instead of competent developers like the CachyOS developers that just do this on a daily basis like they're breathing. Going forward with Linux is better than being stuck at a point in time where, I don't know, you could be stuck with God knows how many problems and issues. You'll always find people that say Linux Mint just works. Those same people will come to my Discord, ask for support on Linux Mint, ask why this won't compile, this won't work, why the dependencies for this is outdated, and why emulators don't function as well as they do on other people's distros. You know the reason why now. So, again, having a desktop environment of your choice is always amazing, and as you can see, CachyOS offers everything, including no desktop at all. Why is that the file for no desktop? It should just be a black screen. So this is KDE Plasma, or KDE 6 as many people call it. To go over this, all we have to do is minimize. So its settings is very convoluted and bloated. Unfortunately, there's about 1,000,001 settings in here, and getting to most of them is just annoying. If you're a new user and you see this and you feel anxiety, you're not alone. Many people complain about this constantly. This is where you can change your monitors. This is where you can deal with compositor stuff. This is where you handle your sound. I'm just going to go over the basics. Mouse and keyboard touchpad. And this is your Bluetooth. I don't have the Bluetooth adapter put into the VM. Wi-Fi and internet. Online accounts will be handled here, so you can actually go and add an account and do whatever you need to. Wallpaper is handled here. And of course, you can get new wallpaper from here if you need to. No items are currently showing, but there's White Sir wallpaper. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can just grab. So, you know, it's really up to you what you do. But it's kind of interesting nonetheless. For Gnome users, you just add the Bing extension and it grabs wallpapers for you. This is where you'll customize everything. So there's dark mode, light mode, and dark and light mode. And there's your night light, your colors, so you can change whatever you want. Accent colors in here. So if you want green, you want red, you want purple, you want dark purple, I'll just hit apply on that and it applies everywhere. It's where you deal with your fonts and your font management. There's just a whole bunch of stuff. User feedback, screen locking. It's there, including power management. Okay. So that one, I guess, kind of explains it. Then there's Gnome. Gnome is one of those desktop environments that you're going to have to learn. And I have tons of video guides on it, how to customize it like Windows, how to turn it into KDE pretty much. You name it, I've done it, and I've gotten pretty goddamn good at it too. So if you need to make this desktop environment your own, Gnome has the ability to turn it into whatever you want. Despite what other people say with their misinformation, they just didn't take time to do it. It uses a format called extensions. And KDE also uses a format to do everything they do. I'm talking about everything called widgets. So when someone says, oh, Gnome sucks because it uses extensions, let me remind you, this is an extension. This is an extension. These are extensions. All of this in here is an extension. The entire desktop environment of KDE is an extension. Okay, nothing is built in. It comes with the desktop environment, but here's the thing. If something breaks, everything could break. If an extension breaks in Gnome, you still have the entire desktop environment working because most of the things you need are built in. Now, if you used macOS before, you're going to be fine with this. This has a launcher window that shows you everything you need and brings up all your applications. You can add start menus. You can. It has a dock if you need be. You can move the time. You can add app indicators to see when your apps are showing up and so on and so forth. It goes on and on and on and on. There is endless amounts of things you can do with Gnome. You could turn it into macOS. You could turn it into Windows. You could turn it into KDE and so much more. Now, XFCE4, I would recommend only using an X11. There's a difference between X11 and Wayland. I'll go over that here soon. But Wayland version is still severely broken. You'll have to compile some things. But this is kind of like Gnome where you can customize whatever you want. You can add a dock, you can add a panel bar, you name it. We're going to ignore that for now. So this is another version of Gnome. Bungie is built off of Gnome. Yep. It functions more like Gnome 2 than anything, which is one of the most ass-backwards things you'll find these days. It's more like a classic desktop environment. So, you know, it just looks like Windows. Doesn't handle like Windows, though. If you press this button over here, a huge panel will come open, and you got settings and a whole bunch of stuff. Cinnamon is something you'll get with Mint, but it's kind of windowish while also not being very windowish. And I don't really like it. There's not a lot of options to do things. It runs off of Muffin, aka Mutter, which again, this is just, I guess, another Gnome-ish, portish desktop environment that became something else. This is Cosmic. This is an Alpha 7. It feels more like it's still an Alpha 3 at this point. It is loaded with bugs. Not all your games will work. And I have a video about the latest changes in Cosmic. You can find that on my YouTube channel. It's the last video, not the last video. I just uploaded a hyperlink video, so it's the video before that. So you can see I've tested some gaming, I've went over all the latest features, and I've covered almost every beta now. This is a Windows manager. This is difficult. If you're willing to jump in and learn, feel free, but you're going to get frustrated. It's best to start with one of these guys here first. Not this. This is also Windows Manager. Hyperlink is what we're on right now. So if I decided to show you Hyperlink, let's drag that out of the way. Basically, I had the Windows key and I can search for settings and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? If I needed to take a screenshot, I can hold Shift S and then drag and drop. I can grab whatever I want. And I click here. There's quick tools, change screen resolution, do everything like that. And there's another thing, and I have a dock on the bottom. This is customized for me. I just uploaded a video about this. You can check this out. But you can turn Hyperlink into whatever you want. You can turn this into a copy of Windows to function exactly like Windows. So there's that. Put that back there. Turn that off, and we're back. LXDE is like your Windows XP. You know, it's Windows-like. It works. It functions. I don't have anything negative to say against it, but it uses LXD as a Windows manager, as a display manager, and then the Windows manager is open box, and like, there's just so much endless stuff you could do it. It's hard to explain for me. This is LXQT. Again, Windows XP Air type situation going on here. Lots of customizability. This is Mate, or as they like to call it because they want to sound fancy, Mate. If it was Mate, you'd have a little thingy over the T, but you don't, so it's Mate. Get over it. Learn how to spell. Anyway, this is Gnome 2 with some refinements and has been updated with lots of interesting things going on, I guess. I guess it's a little more modern than XP, but also at the same time it's not. OpenBox is pretty much just you right click and then you go through a menu and you grab what you want. It's weird. You can turn OpenBox into Windows, you can turn OpenBox into Gnome, you can do whatever you want with it. It's not really that difficult to learn. I mean, you're given an out-of-box type of situation here when it comes to everything, so you already have a starting point where most of the time you won't in other situations, because OpenBox just literally comes with a blank desktop most times. And of course, it's been weebed. Qtile, it's a tiling manager. It's as simple as that. I believe that's a start menu up there with the C. I'm not really quite sure. I've never actually used this one. I might give it a go one day, but it looks to be X11. I'm not sure if Qtile is updated to be Wayland yet, but look at that. That's a freaking AMD Radeon RX 370 and an AMD FX. Oh my god. Oh man, whoever used this was a strange one. And then there's Sway. Sway, they hate NVIDIA users. Okay? They're very biased against them, even though NVIDIA has fixed all the issues that they required. They still put NVIDIA down and refuse to, support them officially. So you have to do this thing to even get it started, where I'm not even going to go over it. I can't even, like, give any respect to the Sway developers. They're just weird. They need to grow up. This is your Windows 7 environment. So this is probably as Windows 7 as it gets, but again, it's X11. It's not Wayland, not that I know of. Let me see. Let's see what it says. I'm gonna ask if it got Wayland support. Oh, Wayland support is currently work in progress. Okay. That's interesting. So it will get Wayland support in the future using Kwin, which is again a part of Plasma Desktop or KDE. And I like that. That's kind of nice. And this is Wayfire. It's special. It's something that no one actually uses, but it's constantly evolving all the desktop environments around us because it's a testing feature, I think, for most protocols for Wayland that are going in. So what's the difference between Wayland and X11? X11 is a very old protocol. How old is X11? I think it should be like 40 something. Yeah, it was first introduced in June of 1984. 37 years old as of today. Wow. Well, as of September the 15th, it will be 38, but yeah. Damn. Okay. Next, we're going to go over what is Wayland, because I want to do that first, okay? Because it's a lot different from X11. It's got more modern features and stuff. So, simple architecture, that's the first thing. X11 uses a more complex and older architecture where multiple components like the compositor, Windows Manager, and applications interact and potentially... One second. I'm not sure. Is it going to smush it? It smushes it. Okay, I'll just put that over there. Professionally inefficient ways over the years, it accumulated a lot of workarounds and legacy features. That's the one thing you don't really want is workarounds and legacy features. They can cause issues, they can cause bugs, it could lead to a lot of other things. Wayland is designed to be more straightforward. It combines responsibilities into one component called the compositor, which handles drawing applications, input devices. This simplifies, reduces errors, and improves performance. So X11 has additional overhead because of the complex architecture. For example, it has to consistently send messages between the applications, so the Windows Manager and compositor, to be able to handle certain things. Wayland reduces this overhead by resulting in faster, more responsive applications. This could be easily noticeable on modern hardware. I slur my words sometimes. I'm trying my best. Better support for modern features. So X11 was designed decades ago when hardware and end user expectations were very different. So modern features such as touch gestures, high DPI displays are harder to implement and less efficient. Wayland has VRR, HDR, a ton of other things like explicit sync, which actually does help with performance a lot. It supports NVIDIA a lot better these days, which is nice. There's like no Wayland issues that I've had. And yeah, Wayland was built with modern hardware in mind, making features like multi-touch gesture scaling on high-resolution displays and smooth animations more seamless. You have multi-monitor experience to be much better. You have HDR in all your monitors if you have HDR. It's just overall better. X11 allows applications to spy on each other or interfere with each other in some cases, capturing keystrokes in other applications, which raise security concerns. Wayland has much better isolation between applications, making it more secure by design. They are implementing protocols which will allow you to capture keystrokes and stuff like that, so if you want to pause and record with OBS, you can do so. Alright, so Wayland right now, if you're on modern hardware, is a lot better for you than not being on modern hardware. And if you're on older hardware that doesn't really support Wayland too well, that's fine. I get why you use X11. So because we're on here, most of you are most likely going to be choosing Plasma. It seems to be the thing. But again, if you choose Gnome, remember in the description below of this video, you're going to find a playlist, and it has everything related to Gnome where you can make it whatever you want. So, what do you get? Well, you get to choose whatever you want to install. CachyOS is not bloated by any means. It does replace a lot of packages with its own because it's optimizing those packages with better compiling flags, so they work better on your specifically designed system. It uses repos such as v2, v3, v4/5. v4 and v5 are combined together, so that's Zen 4, Zen 5, or newer Intel CPUs. For Zen 3 or older, you'll be using the v3, and there's v2 CPUs for even older, and so on and so forth. This allows CachyOS to go through and make sure you have the best performance for your CPU and your GPU, and all the applications understand that. And that's what makes it important. So you get a browser of your own, you can remove it. You don't want fish, you can't really remove it, but you can disable their config. These rules, I have no goddamn clue what they do. I'm going to be honest, but they're there for a reason, I'm guessing. The Hello application we've already seen. It's right here. It's a little more extensive when you're inside of the actual install. It allows you to do tweaks, reinstall your system, repair your system. It does everything. This is a kernel manager. So if you're one of those people that like experimenting, you want to see what kernel works best for you, this allows you to do so. It's got its own package installer. It's not good. Very unmodern looking. It'll probably confuse a lot of users. It's got a settings application. Never used it. CSH config. There's multiple different terminals for Linux. There's micro settings and there's wallpapers. So you can unselect all of that if you want. Okay, so you can turn all of this off. I recommend keeping the hello, the kernel manager, the rules here, so that you're good to go. Next is the base devil packages. This is basically your OS, okay? So you got all of these, they're fine. Network clients, they're good. There's a firewall. You don't want one, unchoose it. This is your Bluetooth. You're going to want that package manager. So this allows you to access the EA. This is another application for installing files. This allows you to install extensions that handle updating and stuff. It's pretty cool. Desktop integration, so account services, bash completion. So if you hit tab when you're in the terminal, you're typing something, it will autocomplete for you, which is pretty nice. Yeah, so all that stuff. You got your file system, you got your fonts, you got your audio, okay, you got your hardware, you got your power stuff, and you got some extra applications. You don't have to install these. wget, cool, nano, good. You know, it really depends on you. If you're installing, my suggestion, have your phone open, look up what each and every one of these applications does, and just let it work for you. Firefox is down here. You have printing support down here. You have support for HP printers, your accessibility tools, specific microcodes and update package for Intel and AMD CPUs. And then we have all of this. This is just KDE. And there's extra things that do come with it, but again, you can unchoose all of this if you don't want it and just stick with normal KDE. It works. So next, you know the drill. Enter your name, enter your login. It's been a while. I had to. The password has to be at least 4 letters or 4 numbers long. Do not log in automatically without a password. It can screw a lot of things up, but you are going to want to use the same password for your administrator account, okay? This is a must. Username must start with a lowercase, right? There we go. So I'm going to hit next. This is just telling you what it's going to do to your drive. So currently we have nothing, and it's going to put the bootloader, and it's going to basically allot the rest to CachyOS. And there you go. That, I believe, is everything you need to know about CachyOS and its installation. The rest of this will take place on the desktop, where I'll go over and explain as much more as I can. We're not done yet. We're not even remotely close. Again, when I said this is a long-ass video, boy did I mean it. Welcome to your first boot with Refined. Boy, that is one ugly-ass theme, isn't it? So if you have Windows, Windows is obviously going to show over there on the side. We're going to just hit this and let's boot up CachyOS. So again, I mentioned what Wayland is. I mentioned what X11 is. We're going to go with Wayland. More modern, has more features. And I keep remembering every time I have to do that. There we go. Welcome. First thing we're going to do is I need to adjust my display to actually be, you know, that. There we go. Great. So if you have eyesight issues, you need to scale this way. If you want your screen to be more 1440p than anything, scale back this way. This is where you deal with your refresh rate, your color profile, and your accuracy for color. If you have HDR supported, your HDR settings will display here as well. So that's pretty cool. You can allow for screen tearing. You can scale by system for legacy X11 applications, or you can allow them to scale themselves. Recommend sticking to scaling themselves. I figured I'd just let you know that before we fully jumped in. Oh, why does it feel like it's just not accelerated at all? I don't honestly get that, but if we open up app tweaks, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here. And are we connected to Wi-Fi? We are. Great. So this is where you could do your system update. If you enter your password, it will do a system update because we just installed. There's nothing to do. If you want to reinstall all your packages in case you have one that's corrupt and need to fix it, you can do so. If you want to refresh your key rings, you can do so by clicking this button. If you've installed an application and halfway through, like you had a restart or something weird and you can't install the application again, it says DB lock. Pressing this button will remove the DB lock. You can clear your package cache. So say that you have like a bunch of packages that you've gone and installed, and there you go. Now everything's cleaned out. You freed up some space. You can also, end some orphan files if you need to. If you want to install everything related to gaming, so Steam, Lutris, Heroic, GameScope, Mango HUD. I entered the wrong password again. We really need to change that. I'll show you how to change your password too. Basically, I'm just going to hit enter. Cannot resolve dependency. This is another issue. Okay. So for some reason, and I don't know why they're doing this now, but 32-bit stuff is not enabled. So we're going to go sudo nano. You don't have to use nano. You can use whatever editor you want, but .conf. Okay. Now, according to what it said, multilib was not enabled, which it is, which is strange. Usually when it says that, multilib's not there, but it's fine. Okay, so I need to change my password. Sudo password war doctor. Done. So it all depends on your username. Let's try to install the gaming packages again. Okay. One. Let's go for 2. And if you do that, you can add something else. So all we actually need is 2. Yeah, it's okay. I think I know the problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up console. It's being weird. Sudo pacman.sy. I don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't do that. Let's try this again. Could not resolve dependencies. Why are you needing to resolve dependencies? For what? Whatever. 2. Enter a number. 2. Yeah, it's screwed. This is not normal, by the way, so I don't know what the hell's going on. Let's refresh the keys. Maybe there's something wrong there. Anything else that we could do? Let's rank mirrors. This will give you your fastest download speed possible. You're going to want that. And it will rank according to the fastest. And once it's done, you'll have better download speeds and installation speeds for any packages you decide to install. Okay. Now I'm going to hope that that fixed the issue. I'm going to try to install the game libraries one more time. Still not able to resolve stuff. I really don't know what it's trying to do, but when you click this, again, it installs everything it needs to so that you're able to, yeah, make things work. We'll install Steam a different way, okay? So this here is your kernel manager. The stock kernel is just fine, but if you want a boar kernel, the boar kernel will be there, which is right here. So you just click it and you hit execute. You enter your password, you hit yes, and it installs the kernel. And it's done. Well, it's not done. It has to reconfigure everything and do everything possible. And there's also an RC kernel here. It's currently 6.15 RC3, but there should be RC4 hopefully pretty soon. So that's pretty cool. If you want to deal with this is on a whole nother level. This allows you to manipulate your CPU performance with different schedulers. So test each one, see which one's the fastest, and then you hit apply. You enter your password. You enter your password. You can enter certain flags if you need to. And if you want, you can also click this right here and you can hit configure. What this will do, it allows you to compile a custom kernel. I do that. You can build open modules, NVIDIA closed modules, add ZFS module, add that. You can do so much stuff to it, and you can even add your own patches, which is pretty cool. So I'm trying to go everything so that you know exactly what you can do. Now, remember I mentioned that it had a package manager. This is it. It's not very modern looking. It does have info on certain things. It's not bad. It needs a lot of work. But here we could search for Steam and we can install that. Okay. So, damn it. Great. Yes. Password. And these are all missing. Unable satisfy dependencies. Which makes no sense. I think it installed broken for me. It's really not normal at all. So yeah, this is where you can also do updates and stuff. I think I'll go over the whole application. So you could show what's installed, not installed, outdated, search by description, file name by name. You could do cache cleaner, repository editor. So yeah, you can do a lot of cool things. Now, for some reason, this mirror is not working. Don't do what I'm about to do. We're making a backup. Backup is done. Great. Let's once again try this. Aha. Okay. So what it's asking us to do is to update our thing. So sudo pacman-y. There we go. I think something's wrong with the multilib repo, and that's why things are being weird. Really? Every time I try to make a video, something always goes wrong. There we go. And once again, open up console. Same command as before. Let's try it this way. There we go. That seems to have fixed it. Turning it off and on again has fixed the problem. So now if we need to, we can go and open up Cachy Hello. Hello? We can open up app tweaks and we can install all gaming packages. Just like that. And it's done. So there you go. Some troubleshooting live for your entertainment of a bad install. Never had a bad install before. This is something that I just don't think the repo initialized is weird. But turning it off and on again fixed it. The irony of that's hilarious. So there you go. You just installed Steam. You can choose between Steam Native, which uses your libraries in your system, or Steam Runtime, which brings its own. Lutris, again, cool. I believe Heroic is there as well, so you have all the stuff. And there's not really much else to go over, you know? This is CachyOS in a nutshell. You want to install an application, there's a GUI. You want to install Steam, Lutris, Heroic, Mango HUD, GameScope, there's a GUI. There's a GUI for everything. It's great, it's fast, it's efficient, it works. And because of that, this is why it's an overall better distro than Linux Mint, Ubuntu, Zorin, or any of them. And other than that, they have a support channels in their Discord you guys can check out. If you have any suggestions, you can add them on GitHub or ask them maybe in their Discord. Who knows? If you want to support them, you donate, you get access to a special channel, special role, you get to test things early. It's pretty cool. And if a new driver comes out, you get to test the new driver. There's just so many cool things that you get to watch, like a full honest-to-God development of a distro. Everything takes place in the Discord. You can watch GitHub, do whatever you want. So I hope this went over enough of everything. I really do. If you want to figure out how to use Steam, I have other videos on that. I just wanted to go over this as in depth as possible without passing out. And I did it. Yay. As for medical issues, I realized why I was getting dizzy. I was having problems standing up, sitting down. It's because my ears are all messed up, so I have to go fix that eventually. But other than that, I am completely recovered and healthy, which has been nice. So, there you have it. Customizing KDE, I have a video for that. We don't need to do that here. I don't want to make this any longer than it has to be. I will see you guys next time. Oh, by the way, Photoshop totally does work, but it's kind of interesting to set up. I also have a video about that. But if you're willing to ditch Adobe Photoshop for something more, I guess, better, I have a guide for what's called Affinity Photo. It's right here. There's also Affinity Designer and Affinity Publisher. Affinity Photo is like if, how do you say it? If Adobe was modern and actually cared about its users, and they don't include AI on by default, which I appreciate. If you want any AI, you have to go and install it, and it's free. You don't have to pay for it. And as you can see, it does both CPU and GPU and CPU only. And it's most likely just for selecting certain things. So this is the Photoshop alternative. GIMP doesn't cut it. Krita doesn't cut it. These other paint applications are not professional grade whatsoever, and learning them is a pain in the ass. They have UX issues, they have quality issues, and more. They're trying to become better, but it's just not really getting there. So again, Affinity Photo is your way to go. You only have to pay once for it. So if you're grabbing version 2.6, you pay for that. They'll also give you money off if you upgrade to version 3 whenever that comes out. And it runs like a native application using Wine through on Linux. It's really good, fast, efficient. It's actually what I make to use my thumbnails. See? Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share this video. I'm going to try to put in time codes before I put the video live, so in case you just want to shift around. This is just a night and day experience for Linux compared to other distros. And it's very, very beginner friendly. The community is very beginner friendly. They'll assist you, they'll help you. If you want to get started with Hyperland, they'll help you. It's all there. All you have to do is reach out and take the leap. And it's hard to do that. There's no reading required to learn how to use it. It handles everything for you. So enjoy it, because this is a gem. This operating system, this distro is a gem, and the developers are rare, and I appreciate them completely. Heck, I even donate it to them because they're worth it.